Hey all, this is Grace. We're going to be doing a 45-minute Pilates workout. All you're going to need for this workout is a comfortable place to lay down. If you have a mat, feel free to grab one. You can also just lay down a towel, grab a comfortable spot on the floor, whatever you need. I'm going to grab some water. It'll be over here. I'll cue you throughout to remind you to drink a little bit of water if you feel like it. I've also got some very quiet music going on in the background for posting on YouTube purposes. I'm going to keep it nice and quiet, so if you want to jam out with me, go ahead and grab your own playlist, whatever you like to work out to. And we're going to go ahead and get started. We're actually going to start standing up today. So I'm going to come all the way to the end of my mat. I know my head's cut off, but that's okay. I'm going to have my feet about hip width apart. From here, I'm going to take a gentle bend in the knees, and then I'm rolling down, locking the hands out to a high plank, really focusing on form. Always form in Pilates is the most important thing. I'm going to try and tap those knees almost to the floor and lift it back up. And then I'm rolling it all the way back up, gentle bend in the knees, making sure I'm breathing, and we roll back down. Good. Really focus on that breathing. Remember, as always, listen to your body. Whatever it needs, if that's something different from what I'm doing, that's totally fine. This is a suggestion. Rolling down, rolling out on your own timing. We're going to do 3 more just like this. Gentle bend, not locking the knees out. You've got 2 more, nice and controlled. One last time, here we go. Good. From here, we're just going to stay down, coming into an all-fours position. So I've got my knees stacked directly under my hips, if you can see from the front. My knees are stacked under my hips. My shoulders, elbows, and wrists are all in one long line. We're going to take a couple of cat-cows, dropping the belly down, exhaling to find that nice curve, getting the spinal fluid moving a little bit. Remember, it's always more about the movement than about finding that shape at the top and the bottom. Go ahead and take 1 or 2 more on your own timing. Good. Extending that spine out nice and long. We're going to go ahead and take our bird dogs. So I'm going to lift opposite elbow, or opposite arm, opposite leg. So I'm extending out nice and long, keeping the spine and the pelvis stable, and releasing back down. Other arm, other leg extends nice and long, and I come back down. Good. Really thinking reaching fingers and toes as far away from each other as you can get them. If you'd like, we can add in a crunch, or you can keep doing this. If you want that crunch, elbow taps to knee, extend long, and come down. Out, elbow to knee, extending long, and down. 1 more on each side. Either way, make sure we're still squeezing that spine, trying to keep the abs nice and stable, not letting a whole bunch of movement come into that back. Good. All right, we're going to transition into some upper body work real quick. We're just going to do 2 different kinds of push push-ups. I guess one kind, two different ways, if I'm being honest. So we're going to come into our oil rigger push-ups. So my spine, again, stays nice and long. I'm trying not to let any of this craziness happen. We want to keep that spine long. Hands pressing into the floor, shoulders reaching away from you. So you're pressing through your shoulders to push the floor away. From here, one leg is going to float back. I'm going to keep those hips square as much as possible. I'm going to bring my elbows tight into my body, and I'm coming into a push-up, letting the leg float up, and coming back up. Go ahead and join me when you're ready. We're going to start in 3, 2, 1. Dropping down, and up. Down, and up. Reaching those toes long, away from you. Keeping the elbows tight into your body. Keep breathing, deep inhales and exhales. You've got one more. Very nice. Go ahead and drop that leg down. We're going to transition over to the other side. This time I'm taking my arms a little bit wider. If you've got a mat, only my thumbs and maybe my index fingers are on the mat for this one. I'm going to come into that traditional elbows out to the side push-up with the opposite leg lifted. Here we go. In 3, 2, and 1. Coming down, squeezing through that chest. Keep breathing. You've got 2 more. Engage those abs. Last one. Very nice. Go ahead and shake those wrists out a little bit if you need. We're going to come into some glute work, also in that all fours position. So you've got a couple of options here. For one, if you need a little extra padding, you can roll this mat over for the wrists or for the knees. You can also grab a pillow or a towel or a blanket, whatever you have, just to stick under the hands and knees if they're getting a little bit tired. You can also always flip over onto the back of your wrists, so I'm making fists, or you can drop down to the elbows. This one will get you a little bit of extra ab work too. So, depending on what your upper body needs, I know sometimes my wrists get really tired from being up on my hands for a long extended period of time. So feel free to switch around throughout the set as needed. We're going to set ourselves up the same way we were set before. From here, all we're going to do is we're going to open this leg out to the side and back down, trying our best to keep our pelvis and our upper body nice and still. Here we go. Nice and controlled. Really focusing on that long spine, abs engaged. You've got 2 more. And last one. Very nice. From here, we're going to flex that back foot, and we're going to kick it up towards the ceiling. On this one, especially our low back really likes to arch, so squeeze, squeeze, squeeze that core. Squeezing the abs, engage everything, really fight for that good form. You all got this. Keep breathing. Pushing the ground away from you through those shoulders, no matter where you are. Three, 2, 1. From here, we're going to stay up. We're going to extend out and in. Out and in. Keep breathing. You've got 2 more. Last one. Very nice, y'all. All right. 2 more things on this side. We totally got this. we're going to take our rainbows. So we're going to tap out to the outside of our mat, reaching up and over with that foot to tap to the other side. Try and keep that upper body nice and still. Here we go. Deep breaths. Nice and controlled. Check in with that core. Is it still engaged? You've got 2 more like this. Last one. Good. All right. Last thing, we're going to come back up and we're pulsing it out. Little tiny pulses, heel towards the ceiling. Check in with that back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dropping those legs down, sending it back to a child's pose for just a moment. Maybe walk your hands toward one side or the other, feeling stretching the side of the body, sitting into that hip, whatever you need. We're going to transition towards the other side, so go ahead and slowly walk your way back up. If you need a drink, feel free to grab one really quickly. All right, we've got another leg. Bring us over here so I don't forget what we did. All right, when you're ready, go ahead and set yourself back up. Remember, you can always drop down to the elbows or flip over onto the fists if you need. Whatever feels good to your body, it's okay for one side to be different than the other. All right, go ahead and set yourself up, squeezing that core, long spine. We're going to open up to that fire hydrant. Keeping that pelvis as still as you can, isolating that hip joint. Good. Keep breathing, pushing the ground away from you. Just a couple more, you got this. 3, 2, last one. Nice, flexing that foot, we're kicking up to the ceiling, squeezing that core, kicking up. Are you breathing? Are you squeezing those abs? Your spine nice and long, core engaged. You've got 3, 2, and 1. Keeping that leg up, we extend out and in, out and in, out and in. Nice work, y'all. One more. Good. Dropping that leg down. We're going to extend it out to the side. Rainbow goes up and over. Up and over. Nice and controlled. Check in with that low back. Make sure it's not doing all the work for you. Great job, y'all. Keep going. Second side is always harder because we're a little bit tired. You've got 2 more. 1 more. Good. Squaring it back up. Heel to the ceiling. Little tiny pulses. You've got 5, 4, 3, 2, to a child's pose again if you need, reaching away from you, rolling those wrists out a little bit if you need to, sitting to one side or the other. When you're ready, let's go ahead and roll it on up. Grab a drink if you need one. We're going to transition to a seated position. Taking a moment to breathe, refocus. Y'all are doing amazing. We've got some arms coming up next. So when you're ready, go ahead and join me in that seated position. Rolling the shoulders up and down the back. Shoulders come up, back, down. Good. We're going to really focus. We're going to be working the arms. We're also going to be working those back and ab stabilizing muscles. So we really want to be core engaged, really squeezing those abs, sitting up nice and tall, no slumping forward. From here, I'm going to reach my arms up, out to the side. My hands turn so my palms are up. I'm taking a gentle bend, and I'm just going to circle it forward. Just little tiny controlled circles. Sitting up nice and tall. And then go ahead and reverse and circle in the other direction. We've got 3, 2, 1. Extending those arms out long. From here, I'm going to come up, really resisting this motion, and back down. Going up into that goalpost, cactus, 90-degree angle, whatever you want to call it. Squeezing the shoulders down the back. Don't let any tension creep into the neck or the head. If you find that you're holding tension there, take a deep breath, exhale, let it go, and smile. Good. From here, we're coming all the way in and out. Notice my upper arms did not drop, they didn't move. So we're just trying to move the forearms around that upper arm. Y'all are doing great. Keep breathing. My arms are burning. Good. Squeezing that core, sitting up nice and tall. Last one like this. Bending those arms up again. We're going to rotate the arms down and up. It's okay if they can't go all the way down. Mine definitely cannot. Focusing on keeping the shoulders back. Really working that isolation. Embracing the burn. One more like this. Good. We've got pinky fingers tapping together, squeezing between the shoulder blades to open. Tap and open. Nice, y'all. You've got this. We only have 2 more exercises left after this one. Got 2 more. Last one. We're going to glue the palms together, glue the elbows together. We're doing little tiny pulses up. Fingers getting a little bit closer to the ceiling with every pulse. Trying not to drop below 90 degrees. Good. Last one, we're going to make a square. Up, over, down, over. Up, over, down, over. Up, over, down, over. Up, over, down, over. Other way. Up, Good, last one. And relax it down. Shake those arms out. Roll the shoulders back a little if you need to. Grab a drink. We're going to transition to the abs. My laptop is falling asleep, so we're going to just do that. All right. We're going to transition into our abs section. So we're almost there. We're going to I'm going to grab a drink real quick. I'm going to talk you through some stuff, and we'll get started. All right, stretch those arms out a little if you need. All right, for our abs. First thing I want to talk about is our pelvic tilt. So if you've been around Pilates before, or you've taken something similar in the past, you probably know about the pelvic tilt. So the idea is when we lay on our back with our legs just up, however feels comfortable, typically there's a little bit of space underneath the back. We've got that little bit of an arch. That's completely natural. Great job. So we want for Pilates, though, to not have that arch. So what we're going to do is we're going to practice. We're going to squeeze the belly button in, pretending it's squeezing all the way to the spine, and I'm going to flatten my spine completely onto the floor, squeezing everything. I'm going to go ahead and release, so I get that little bit of an arch, that just relaxed, chill in position. And again, we're going to squeeze belly button into spine. If you want to exaggerate that arch a little bit so you can feel it a little bit more, that's totally fine. Just not hurting ourselves doing it. When we use this pelvic tilt position, so an imprinted position where our spine is completely on the floor, that's the position that's going to protect our back the most during our ab work. So we're going to do 2 more just like this, and then we're going to give it a try. So what we're going to do next is we're going to come into our double leg drop. So we already practiced our imprinted position. Our spine stays completely on the floor for pretty much all of these exercises, unless I cue you otherwise. My legs are going to be up. They don't have to be completely straight. If it's better for you to bend them, that is great. Please do that. Whatever feels best to your body. You've got your hands are coming just kind of under your tailbone. They're not really doing any of the work. They're just a reminder to you as we begin to drop those legs down to not let that spine come up off the floor. And you're coming back up as soon as you get to that little edge of, I'm not sure if I can go any further without my spine popping off, you're coming right back up. Go ahead and join me when you're ready. Dropping the legs down, coming back up. Dropping down, spine stays glued to the floor, coming up. Down. And up. If you've been doing these for a while and you want to take it up to the next level, feel free to lift your head, neck, and shoulders up off the floor. But remember, number one thing that is most important is that that spine stays put. You've got 3 more like this. Deep breaths. Last one. Very nice, y'all. All right, from here we're going to be moving into our single leg switch. So you've got a couple different options for single leg switch because there's always a million options. So I'm going to show you a couple of them. Option 1, we can have one leg extended out. The other one we're going to grab here. We're going to lift head, neck, and shoulders up off the floor for all of these. We're going to pulse in twice and switch to the other side. Pulse, pulse, switch. Pulse, pulse, switch. If you want to take it up a notch, you can have those legs both bent but a little bit extended, like 90-degree angles, double pulsing and switch. Or you can take the legs all the way straight, get a little bit of hamstring stretch in while you do your ab work. Go ahead, take a second, figure out which option is going to be the best one for you. Get yourself reset. Remember, spine stays on the floor the whole time. Find where you want to be, and we'll get started in 3, 2, 1. We pulse, pulse, and switch. Pulse, pulse, switch. Pulse, pulse, switch. Make sure you're breathing. There's about a fist's worth of space between your chin and your chest, making sure we're not holding any unnecessary pressure in the neck. You've got 2 more on each side. Using your own breath to count those out. Good. Go ahead and hold pull those knees into the chest. Rock it back and forth a little. All right. A couple more ab exercises to finish us off. We're going to move into our bicycles. So, if you've ever done anything with abs, you've probably done bicycles before. With my bicycles for Pilates, we're going to do them really, really, really slow. Because we can. So, I'm going to lift head, neck, and shoulders up off the floor again. I'm coming into that bicycle twist. Instead of thinking just tap elbow to knee moving on with my life, I'm going to think about reaching as far past that knee as I can get. Reaching for that opposite corner of the room. Coming back through a 90-degree angle. Switching over to the opposite side. Coming in. Switching over. Join me whenever you're ready. Deep inhales and exhales. I tend to like to inhale in the center, exhale the twist. Nice and controlled. Check in with that spine. You've got 2 more on each side. We got this. And last one on each side. Good work, y'all. All right. 3 more exercises. We got this. First one of the last 3. We're going to take a crunch. So we're going to come, I'm going to have my arms down. If you want your hands behind your head, they can be. Make sure they're not doing all the work for you, though. So I'm going to take my hands down. I'm going to crunch up. We're going to walk 1 foot out, other foot out, in, and down. Walking up. Join me whenever you're ready. In, and down. Head, neck, and shoulders peel up, out, in, and down. Still squeezing belly button down to the spine. Not letting that low back peel off the floor. Deep breaths. Good, you've got 4 more like this. 3. 2. Last one. Very nice. All right, 2 more. Take a second to breathe as I show this next one. I'm coming back up to that 90-degree angle where my hands might be a little bit tucked under or not, depending on what feels good to you. From here, I'm keeping my whole spine glued to the floor, tapping 1 foot down, and then the other. It looks super simple, but it is super hard. Join me when you're ready. Tapping 1 foot down the other, focusing on that pelvic tilt. Deep breaths in and out. We're almost there. You can do this. Two more on each side. And 1 more on each side. All right, go ahead and roll it up. Gently to sitting. Take your time getting here. From here, we've got one last ab exercise. We're going to do our earthquake. So again, if you've been around, if you've taken my class before, you've probably done these at some point. What's going to happen is I'm going to sit up nice and tall. Chest stays open. I don't want to collapse my chest because then I'm compressing my diaphragm. So it's going to get a lot harder for you to get a deep breath in this position, which we never want. We want to be able to breathe all the time. So we're going to extend the arms out long. All I'm going to do is go ahead and sit back. We're just going to hold here for a second. If you want to make it more challenging, you can take the arms up. The higher the angle, the farther they get above your head, the more challenging it's going to be. All right, take a deep breath in, roll those shoulders back, sit up nice and tall, engaging the core. Go ahead and sit back to an angle where you feel those abs, and we're just going to hold it here for 30 seconds. Play around with those arms if you want them to go a little higher. You can also extend the legs out long. If you feel some shaking, you're doing it right. You've discovered why it's called an earthquake. We're almost there, y'all. You've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Go ahead and roll it all the way back down to your back. Stretching fingers and toes long apart from each other. Getting that stretch across the front of the body. You can either stay here, or if you'd like, we can roll over. Take that cobra stretch. Stretching up just a little bit, not forcing anything. When you're ready, we're going to roll onto the side, slowly making our way up to a seated position. We're just going to go ahead and use these last couple of minutes to stretch out. So I'm going to come into a butterfly stretch first, taking the bottoms of those feet together, dropping the gaze down towards the feet, and walking the hands out. Wherever you are, whatever position feels good to your body, make sure we're still breathing in and out. Especially when we're stretching, our breath lets our body know that we're still doing okay. We're still here, we're still breathing, we're still living. It's okay to relax into the stretch. That doesn't necessarily mean we need to push further, but we can relax into it. Walking those hands back in. Go ahead and extend the legs out long in front of you. You can either flex the feet or point them, whatever feels good to you. We're sitting up nice and tall, and then slowly walking the hands out towards the feet. Again, dropping the gaze down towards the knees. Let every exhale relax you a little further. Let a little more tension melt from your body. Walking it back up. We're going to take one leg out to the side. The other leg, we're going to plant that foot into the thigh of the leg that's extended. Sitting up nice and tall, we're going to reach the opposite arm up and over, reaching for that big toe of the opposite foot. We're going to really try to keep the chest nice and open. Opposite hip stays glued to the floor so we get into the QL a little bit. This guy tends to get really, really tight when we sit at a desk all day, which is what most of us are doing at the moment. Good. Sitting up nice and tall, we're going to turn the shoulders to face that knee, walking the hands out towards that foot. Locking it back in. We're going to switch over to the opposite side. Go ahead and take a second to get here, and we're going to reach up and over. Keeping the chest open, collarbones long. Sitting up nice and tall, turning the shoulders to face the knee, walking the hands out towards the foot. Good. Go ahead and walk those hands in. We're going to take just a little bit of a straddle. It can be as big or as small as you would like. We're going to walk the hands out just a little bit, getting into those inner thighs. Maybe a little more hamstring stretch. This guy gets pretty much all of the things we haven't done yet. Which one, with one exception, which we'll get to next. Go ahead and lock it back in. We're going to bring those legs together. Take one leg up and over. We're going to cross above the knee, making a little bit of a four shape. We're going to bend this bottom knee up. So I'm coming into a kind of outer glute, glute min, glute med, a little bit of glute max. If you want to roll onto your back and do the traditional figure four stretch, feel free to do that as well. Stretch is a little bit of a different place, but both are great options. If you're sitting up, make sure we're keeping the collarbones open still, not slumping. We don't want to practice bad posture in Pilates. Good. Go ahead and switch over to the opposite side. Crossing over. Bending up. And relax. Transition into just a comfortable seated position, whatever that looks like for you. We're going to stretch the arms out, so stretching across the body, pulling that arm tight towards you. And switching over to the opposite side. Good. We're going to reach one arm up and over. The opposite hand is going to come down and behind. We're going to try and touch those fingers together in the back. If you can't touch them, that is okay. If you can and you would like to grab on and pull a little further, that's okay too. Nice. Go ahead and relax that. We're going to switch over to the opposite side, wheeling the arms around. And releasing that down. Go ahead and roll the shoulders back a couple of times. One more big roll. Good. Go ahead and set yourself up. We're just going to take a couple of deep breaths, and then we'll be all done. All right. Taking a nice deep inhale, bringing the arms up overhead. Exhale, and bring the arms down, releasing any tension you may still be holding on to. Deep inhale, and release. One more time. Inhale up, and release. Nice job, y'all. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the class. Other than that, make sure you drink some water, stay hydrated, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.